Hi, good evening. My name's Joe Tominick. I'm from ASRE. We provide a service that does decorative concrete solutions for businesses and potential residential clients. So going forward today, I'm just going to go through and explain how I typically handle a sales call, and depending on what type of sales call it is. So what we have going on today is we have a brewery. They are out of Hellertown. They're currently in construction. And they came to us with a need for a set of, it's a polished concrete floor for the inside of the bar that they're going to create. So we went about our business, and we typically the call comes in, we handle the call, we try to find out exactly what it is that they're looking for. In this case, it was pretty cut and dry. They had a floor. It was not fitting their needs. They wanted to do a redesign of the building, rebrand themselves. So our job at this point was to get out there, meet with the owners, just to establish a relationship with them, and try to figure out exactly what their future plans are. If there was any more work involved, what kind of timelines they were on, stuff of that nature. So generally, I mean, going through this checklist here, I really find it to be pretty descriptive and helpful for this interview. And, some of the things we have on here is, we'll describe the marketing setting. Well, the marketing setting, this is obviously a service. So somebody has a need, and they're coming to us with, that need, and can we solve that? Can we offer them a product or a service? Well, in this case, absolutely. They came to the right company. We do decorative concrete. We do it for indoor facilities all the time. So this really wasn't a big deal for us. Describing the role of the personal selling in this setting would be, selling to the potential client. They have a want, they have they have a need, and we're here to provide it for them. So we're going to describe the typical relationship between the salesperson and the customer in this field. Since we obviously know what they want, the relationship's going to be more about building trust. This is their business. They really only have one shot at it. So it's very important that we have that trust, and, showing them pictures and getting them referrals certainly builds that in the beginning. But, I think going through a basic set of questions, to provide knowledge that shows that you're knowledgeable. I always like to go through and explain to people that, not only am I out here selling, but in this case, I have the benefit of, I actually work in the field probably about 3 days a week. So it's a huge benefit for me to be able to provide that. Not only am I here selling, you're going to deal with me while the work is getting done, and you're also going to, deal with me if there's a problem and at the end. So it's a really nice opportunity for me to be able to offer that. So again, for me, I'm shooting to build that relationship with them, personally, and kind of get them to forget more about the cost of things at this point, and just get them to understand that we provide a great service, and that we can go ahead and do whatever scope of work that's that they're handing to us, and that it's going to be done accurately, and they're going to be happy in the end. That's really what's important here. Some of the salesman appearance. So for me personally, I find this is a construction trade. So I generally like to wear a collared shirt like I'm wearing. This is a turtleneck. It is logoed. I do find that is pretty standard for this industry. Anything more is typically salesy, and I found that my sales have decreased. I do like to wear blue jeans and work boots. I've tried a variation of dress shoes, casual shorts in the summer, nice shorts. And honestly, people really are responsive to work boots, blue jeans, and a nice polo with company logos on it. I think it's fitting for our industry. It's not too much and it's not too little. It really works well for us. As far as going through and strengthening some of the long-term relationship repeats for referrals, again, it's just executing on what you're selling. while you're out there, are you going to follow through with everything you told them if they provide you with the job? At the end, are they happy? Did you really do everything you said you were going to do and your company was going to do? Did you do it in a timely manner? Did you do it on budget? Was the quality there? Was the experience fun for the customer? People, as professional as this is, it does need to be fun. This is generally a huge investment for people, and they like to be part of that process. They like to be part of the choosing process, whether it's color, stamps, anything of that nature. The team's communication style. What we do is our team, we do implement a lot of fun into our team. We want our team to have fun. If they're fun, they're happy, they're more likely to engage with the client. As long as it's done in a professional manner, we certainly encourage that. The description of our company here is we are a full service design build company. I have about 15 people here, and we're here to provide a service of designing you a concept, building it, and moving forward with it as far as making sure you're happy, and providing any maintenance in the future. So in this particular case, what we did is they came to us, they asked us to provide them with a decorative floor that would not be slippery, that would provide decorative purposes. They wanted it dark, industrial, and they still wanted it to be easy to clean, where bacteria wouldn't hold in it, stuff of that nature. So for purposes of this interview, we went ahead and priced it out. Just trying to see what this description goes for. We went ahead and we really focused, I think, more on the value that it was going to add to the building. So the floor that was in there, they were contemplating going either with us, ripping it out and putting in a decorative concrete, or they were going to go with a laminate floor by a construction company. So the prices were similar. We were more expensive. However, we went ahead and really offered the type of value that it added. So to answer the question here in number 3E, we really went for the value added product strategy because this is more of a permanent solution. It fixed various problems. They were installing a bar with bar stools, and if they went with a laminate over the floor that was currently out of level, the bar stools were going to be wobbly. A laminate it may have to be replaced where, in 5 to 10 years. And they are going to be building bars and other permanent structures, beams and stuff of that nature. And, it's just, what's the loss of business when they do have to shut it down to replace the floor, stuff of that nature. So we certainly talked about the value when we were moving this product to them. So moving into the actual day of the presentation, some of the things that we do, that we do, and I know it was a concern of yourself, Professor, that I was going to go ahead and just use all of the literature at my disposal, because this is an established company, and some of it here I did. But moving forward with this class is I did actually redesign our trifold. I simplified it. So in the folder I'm about to show you here, our trifold used to be very descriptive. It had a lot of words in it. And we actually took that, and during this class I redesigned it and made it very simple. This is our typical product folder. It's just a pretty simple folder, and in it I'll go through list by list what we have. So we do have this is how, when you open it, what you find. There's a business card. There's the business card, and then there's some documents in it, and I'm going to go ahead and just go through and explain that. So in it we have a trifold. It's a trifold. I do apologize for this resolution. The lighting is horrible where I'm at. This trifold here is what we did simplify. We went ahead and we just made it much less descriptive, and we added in about 9 pictures, and in the center it's hard to see, but those are actual stamps samples. So those are the 10 stamp samples that we offer, and we went ahead and just made it really simple to look at. It's got some pictures, some basic information about the company, but nothing that was too overwhelming. We also provide a copy of the sales agreement. So this is the copy of the sales agreement, which I will include all this in the PDF format. And typically what we'll do is we'll go in there and we'll first establish just a little bit of background on the company. And I like to go in and just explain to them kind of what we're here to do today, and that's just to listen to their wants and needs and, find out, if we can offer a solution to them. So that's what we were there to do. And then after we go through that, I like to really sit down with them, just recap on what it is that I heard, make sure what I heard is accurate, and then go through and explain this sales folder. And that's going to be a copy of a blank contract, which is pretty cut and dry. Like I said, that we'll establish that in the PDF files with you. And going forward, I like to cover a basic installation process, which I actually developed this for the class here. I thought this was fun. I thought it was something that we never really had in our folder before. And what it is I just generally took a job and how it should be and described it. It's an average job. It's not specific to every job, but I thought it was pretty descriptive, and it kind of conformed a little bit to what, letting people know what's going on during the process. We also talk about a little bit of care instructions, which I added. A lot of times we do yards. We'll finish up with some landscaping, and I started to include how to take care of your yard after we leave. Those are your grass care instructions. So, and then we also have perennial care instructions. That's for when we do any type of plantings. There's another care instruction for the actual stamped concrete, and it just goes through what you can expect, 1, 2, 3 years after. How do you take care of it? How do you know if it's due up for a reseal? What type of winter maintenance is there? What type of cleaning maintenance is there with it? So this may not be specific to every job, but we do include it in our folders. And like I said, some of this is new based off of this class, which is really cool. We also include a product limitation disclosure, and that's just, basically covering us with the cracks and stuff of that nature. Which is new, I did include a warranty from pavers. We do a lot of paver installations, and I felt it was important that people know what type of warranty we include. And then I also included a copy of our business license in this folder. I thought this was a nice touch. It just showed credibility, and felt it was important. So moving forward with the actual meeting. After we go ahead and we found their wants and needs out, and we do require a second meeting for the pricing because there's a lot of details that go into it, we went back to them and we provided them with a price, and there was really no issue. We moved forward with the project very easily. There was no negotiations, nothing of that nature. After we completed that project, this is where it got a little more complicated. They were so happy, they instantly wanted us to go ahead and redesign the front of their building. The front of their building redesign involved 7 different investors, and it required 2 sales presentations, actually. In those sales presentations, it was done first with the first 2 investors privately, and what we did is we go through and we utilized their actual wants and needs. Again, just finding out what they were looking for. They didn't have a lot of input at this point. They were really unsure of what they wanted. They just wanted to see it. So moving forward, I used a 3-dimensional graphic design software that I used. Just kind of listened to everything they had to say and tried to incorporate all of that into it. Moving forward that day, I like to use an iPad. It's hard to see here, but what we have is the 3-dimensional design, and we played this. This is one of the first things I play. So I like to go through and show it and explain all the products being used. This is the stamp pattern that we used. The colors, it went with an industrial feel. It's a total redesign of the whole front. We go ahead and we let this play, We don't usually interject too much during this process. This is a great selling tool. It adds so much value because we don't have to let the imagination play part. It's an exact replication of what could be built if they move forward, and there's really no gray areas. So after we go ahead and we present this to them, we certainly present them with a price breakdown. And this is where some negotiations came into play. This was a rather large job, and basically we went through some negotiations. With that, we were able to make some modifications to the bar, shorten up the linear footage, and I think we both came out in the end pretty happy. I think that in this job, price, we can't really provide a service here and take away from the price. The price is what it is. It's we don't offer sales, and if you give shortcuts, you can't offer the I think a quality product in the end. So I think what's really important about this is that closing the sale for us in this particular product is being able to show them something that they couldn't see without building it, and putting them on the spot, getting them excited, making them want the product. It's very important. As far as the sales resistance, they tried saying that they weren't sure if the township was going to approve it. So we did provide the township with a very similar presentation. We printed out 2-dimensional architectural drawings for them. We went ahead and did all the legwork for them. So that took away that. They certainly wanted it, but this wasn't a need. There wasn't something, they weren't sure if they were going to do this right away or not. But once we got those two investors excited, kind of crossed the bridge with the price and the redesign of the bar top, and then assisted them with any of the bridges, I guess, with the township or the borough. We were able to go ahead and run that presentation to the other 5 investors, and we got an okay on it. And we actually closed the deal that night by doing the asking, actually, and we just asked them, is this something that they could see themselves installing for their building, and everybody agreed that this would certainly add value to the business. We explained. We actually brought in a younger kid. He's about 23 years old, and he works for our company. He helps us in the graphic design department, and actually architectural design rather. And he was able to really offer his input at 23 years old, because he does go to some breweries and stuff and hang out at some of the more modern bars, and he was able to offer some input of what these people were looking for, because some of the investors are in their 50s and 60s, and they didn't quite understand some of the design elements. Like one of the resistant questions were, they felt like the seating should be facing the bar, that they were spending a lot of money on the interior of the bar, and why do we have people facing the street? And he said, with all due respect, that that people like to watch the the traffic and people walking down the sidewalks, and it's just it adds for just good camaraderie around the people at the table. So after the sale was closed, it says here, list any additional items you suggest to the customer, and I always just suggest that maintenance packages and keeping the product beautiful is very important, because especially in a commercial setting like this, if it looks horrible, people aren't going to want to use the product. So keeping up with maintenance is key. And then and any warranty and service contracts. The warranty of the product, we always do a 3-year workmanship warranty. And as far as color and fading and stuff like that, as long as the product is maintained correctly, we'll certainly warranty it as long as we see fit. I think we do a 5-year warranty actually on concrete, and a lifetime on color on pavers. So that's all included into our color folder, or into our job folder here. And in the end, I always just like to, it says here, what type of post-sale courtesy contacts will you make? And, in a commercial place like this, I'll certainly use them for, dinners or anything of that nature, since it's local and I live in the area. And I do like to follow up with them personally, typically, 1 week, 1 month, 3 months after, just to make sure, the product is working how we told them it would. And, if they have any type of feedback, it's always great to hear because, we can always learn from that. So I hope this was informative for everybody, and that's all I have to say about it. Thank you very much.